wind howls across a frozen expanse, carrying with it the scent of pine and the promise of peril. Canada's wilderness stretches endlessly, untamed, unforgiving, and unyielding. Here, the land is carved by glaciers and rivers, sculpted by ice and storm. Towering mountains rise like ancient guardians, their peaks hidden beneath a veil of snow that has endured for centuries. In the silence of dawn, the boreal forest stands still, cloaked in frost, its trees brittle and skeletal beneath the weight of winter's grip. Yet within this apparent stillness, a hidden war rages. Icy rivers crash against jagged rocks, roaring with a force that drowns out even the fiercest of cries. The aurora borealis sweeps across the night sky, its ghostly lights casting green and purple shadows over the snowfields below. It is Bowie, yes, but it is also a battlefield painted by nature's hand. For beneath the northern lights lurks a world where hunger is relentless, where survival is bought not with peace but with tooth, claw, and cunning. Predators stalk these lands, each one a master of its craft. The wolf moves like a whisper, its paws pressing silently into snow as yellow eyes pierce the darkness. The grizzly bear lumbers with unmatched power, a living fortress of muscle and fury. High above, the bald eagle circles patiently, its gaze sharp enough to slice through distance, waiting for its moment to strike. And deep in the shadows, the lynx crouches, a ghost of the forest, ready to launch its silent ambush. Every day here is a contest. Every night, a trial by fire, or rather by frost. Predator against predator, hunter against hunter. Each survival story is written not in words, but in blood, bone, and endurance. In this land, even the rulers are not safe. Wolves dare to test bears, coyotes circle the edges of lynx territory, and in the unforgiving Arctic, the polar bear prowls the ice in search of its next conquest. This is no simple wilderness. It is a kingdom where strength is measured in survival, and weakness is punished without mercy. The clash of predators defines the rhythm of the land. A single paw print in the snow could spell doom for the creature that left it. A sudden shift in the wind could turn hunters into the hunted. Here, every breath carries risk. Every shadow hides danger. And yet, amid the brutality, there is grandeur. The endless forests shimmer with life. Rivers teem with prey, and mountains echo with the calls of creatures locked in eternal rivalry. It is a theater of survival, an unending performance, where the roles of victor and victim change with every season. In this land of extremes, every shadow is a battlefield. Welcome to the wilds of Canada, where only the strongest survive. From above, Canada's wilderness looks like an endless mosaic of green, white, and blue, a patchwork stitched together by forests, tundra, wetlands, and rivers. Each biome tells a story, each one a stage where predators and prey collide in the eternal contest for life. Together, they form one of the most formidable natural arenas on Earth. The boreal forest, stretching across millions of square kilometers, is the beating heart of Canada's wild. Dense conifers stand shoulder to shoulder, their needles whispering in the cold wind. Here, snowshoe hares dart nervously across the forest floor, their white winter coats blending seamlessly with the snow. But camouflage is never perfect. The lynx is always watching. Silent, patient, and perfectly built for this icy labyrinth, the lynx thrives where the hare falters. Yet even the lynx must tread carefully, for the coyote prowls these same woods, opportunistic and cunning, ready to steal a meal or drive its rival from a kill. To the north lies the tundra, a world of frozen silence. In summer, the short season erupts with life. Caribou herds march in the thousands, attracting wolves that follow them across vast, unforgiving distances. In winter, the tundra becomes desolate, stripped of shelter, where only the most resilient predators endure. The Arctic fox sneaks across the ice, scavenging scraps from polar bears, while snowy owls scan the frozen plains with eyes sharper than any blade. And looming over it all, the polar bear reigns, unmatched in strength yet vulnerable to the shifting fate of the sea ice. The wetlands and marshes provide a very different battlefield. Rich with fish, amphibians, and waterfowl, these ecosystems lure both predators of the land and of the sky. Bald eagles perch above mirror-like lakes, waiting to unleash their talons on unsuspecting fish. But they are not alone. Mink and river otters slip silently through the shallows, their streamlined bodies turning the waterways into ambush zones. Even here, competition simmers. An eagle may snatch a fish from an otter, just as a mink may challenge a rival over the spoils of a catch. Then there are the rivers themselves, lifelines cutting through the wilderness. In summer, the salmon run transforms them into corridors of chaos. Grizzly bears charge into the rushing water, jaws snapping as salmon leap upstream. Bald eagles swarm the skies, circling above the frenzy. For the wolves, these rivers mean opportunity, where bears feast, scraps and weakened prey may be left behind. Yet when bears and wolves cross paths at these sacred hunting grounds, the air thickens with tension. This is the essence of Canada's ecosystem: interconnection and confrontation. Every creature has a role, but no role is safe. The hare feeds the lynx competes with the coyote, and the coyote risks crossing into wolf territory. Even the sky is contested. Eagles fight with ravens, owls hunt beneath the cover of darkness, and scavengers bide their time for leftovers from the powerful. These landscapes are not merely homes, they are arenas. The forests echo with howls, the tundra with silent stalks, the wetlands with splashes of ambush. Rivalries are etched into every corner. Wolf packs against bears, lynx against coyotes, eagles against mink. The silence of the boreal forest is broken by a single sound, a low, mournful howl that rises into the night sky, echoing off the frozen trees. Moments later, others answer, one after another, until the darkness vibrates with a chorus of power. This is no random noise. It is strategy, communication, and declaration all in one. The wolves are on the move. The wolf pack is a masterpiece of coordination, bound by loyalty and hierarchy. At its head, the alpha pair leads not with brute strength alone, but with the wisdom of survival. Subordinates follow, each one playing a role in the intricate machinery of the hunt. Pups, the future of the pack, remain sheltered and guarded, while younger wolves learn the ways of patience, stealth, and endurance. Moving as a unit, the pack flows across the snow like a shadow, each step precise, each breath measured. Their paws spread wide to walk atop deep drifts, giving them an edge over their prey. Eyes glint amber in the moonlight, scanning the frozen horizon for the faintest sign of weakness. Wolves do not waste energy on the strong. They seek the limping, the lagging, the vulnerable. In this frozen world, efficiency is survival. The most famous of all confrontations is the age-old battle between wolves and moose. The moose is massive, towering above the wolves with antlers like sharpened spears and hooves that strike with bone-crushing force. But size is not invincibility. The wolves test their opponent relentlessly, circling, darting in and out like shadows, forcing the moose into the deep snow where its strength becomes a burden. One mistake, one stumble, and the wolves close in, fangs flashing as the great herbivore falls beneath coordinated fury. But not all confrontations end in triumph. At times, wolves push their luck, straying into the territory of the mighty grizzly bear. These encounters are rare but unforgettable. A bear guarding a carcass is an immovable fortress, its claws and raw strength capable of tearing through any challenger. The wolves do not fight recklessly. Instead, they harass, probing the bear's patience, testing whether hunger outweighs danger. Sometimes the bear roars and charges, scattering the pack in an explosion of snow and fury. Other times, persistence pays off, and when the bear finally retreats, the wolves inherit the spoils. Territory defines a wolf's life. Packs claim vast ranges, marked not with fences but with howls and scent. Borders are respected, but only to a point. When rival packs collide, battles erupt, an unforgiving clash of equals where the victor gains not only land but the future survival of its bloodline. This is the paradox of the wolf. Brutal yet disciplined, savage yet strategic. It is a predator of instinct and intelligence, whose survival depends on unity. A lone wolf may survive for a time, but the pack is eternal. A living organism made of many bodies, one heartbeat, and a single relentless purpose. Towering on hind legs at nearly 3 meters tall and weighing as much as 360 kilograms, it is less an animal and more a moving mountain of muscle and fury. Its presence bends the forest around it. Trees seem smaller, rivers quieter, and even predators like wolves or cougars think twice before drawing too close. Each detail of the grizzly is a weapon of survival. The hump above its shoulders is not fat, but dense muscle, powering forelimbs strong enough to overturn boulders. Its claws, curved like ivory scythes, extend nearly 10 centimeters, perfect tools for tearing open logs, ripping through soil, or striking with lethal force. Even its sense of smell is legendary, detecting prey or carrion kilometers away, as if the very air whispers secrets to the bear alone. Yet, for all its terrifying arsenal, the grizzly is not just a killer. It is an opportunist, a master of variety in one of the harshest environments on Earth. In spring, it digs through the thawing ground for roots and bulbs, or scours meadows for tender shoots. In summer, it feasts on berries by the thousands, staining its muzzle red and blue as it gorges to store precious fat. But it is during the salmon runs that the grizzly reveals its full majesty. The river boils with silver bodies, each salmon hurling itself upstream in a desperate race to spawn. Into this chaos wades the grizzly, water splashing against its fur, eyes locked on the shimmering prey. With a swipe of its colossal paw, it sends a fish flying into the air, catching it with ease. Others it snatches straight from the current, jaws clamping down with a crunch that echoes across the valley. Above, bald eagles circle, waiting for scraps. Along the banks, wolves hover at the edge, testing whether they dare intrude. But this is the grizzly's arena, and few predators challenge its claim. Even so, confrontations do happen. A wolf pack, hungry and bold, may gather on the fringes of a grizzly's territory, drawn by the scent of a fresh kill. The wolves circle, their eyes gleaming, their movements cautious. For a moment, the air thickens with possibility, a clash between strategy and brute force. Then the bear rears back, unleashing a roar that rattles the forest, a sound so deep it seems to shake the ground itself. The wolves falter, tails low, and in most cases they retreat. The lesson is clear. Even numbers cannot always overcome raw power. But the grizzly does not live only by aggression. In quieter moments, it is seen grazing peacefully or stretched across the grass, belly full, soaking in the warmth of the sun. Yet this peace is always temporary. The wilderness never grants long reprieves, and when hunger gnaws again, the bear rises once more, ready to dominate whatever the forest offers. The grizzly is both monarch and warrior, feared and revered. It is a living paradox, capable of tenderness toward its cubs, yet ruthless in defense of its territory. In the grand war of Canadian predators, the grizzly does not sneak or conspire. It rules with sheer presence, daring any rival to test its throne. Far to the north, where the land gives way to an endless sea of ice, another titan rules, a predator born from snow, forged by frost, and sustained by the silence of the Arctic. The polar bear, largest of all bears, is the undisputed monarch of the frozen frontier. Males can weigh more than 600 kilograms, yet they move with astonishing grace across the shifting ice, each paw step as deliberate as a hunter's breath. This is a land where survival is dictated by extremes, months of unbroken darkness, temperatures that plunge below -40, and seas locked beneath thick ice. Yet here, the polar bear thrives, sculpted by evolution into a master of endurance and stealth. Its ivory white coat blends seamlessly with the landscape, a cloak of invisibility that conceals one of the deadliest hunters on Earth. The polar bear's quarry is the seal, lifeblood of the Arctic, but catching one requires patience bordering on the extraordinary. A bear may wait for hours, even days, beside a seal's breathing hole in the ice, unmoving, silent, and invisible. When the seal finally surfaces, the stillness shatters in an instant. The bear's paw slams down with crushing force, pulling its prey into the frozen air. It is a brutal efficiency, honed through countless generations of survival. But seals are not always plentiful. As the summer ice retreats, the polar bear becomes an opportunist, scouring beaches for carcasses, raiding bird colonies for eggs, or even scavenging from the kills of others. Hunger drives innovation, and in the Arctic, hunger is constant. A bear may swim for hours, sometimes more than 50 kilometers, in search of ice floes rich with prey. Each stroke is powered by the need to eat, each breath by the will to live. Though solitary by nature, polar bears are not strangers to conflict. When two males meet during the mating season, the ice becomes an arena. They rise onto their hind legs, massive forms swaying before colliding in thunderous blows. Paws strike with the weight of hammers, jaws snap with bone-crushing force, and the snow is churned into chaos. These battles are not always to the death, but the price of failure is exile. The loser limps away, bloodied, humiliated, and denied the chance to pass on his legacy. Territory, too, is fiercely guarded. A fresh seal kill draws scavengers, foxes, gulls, even other bears, but the victor defends its prize with lethal conviction. A warning growl rumbles like distant thunder across the ice, and challengers learn quickly that one wrong step could be their last. And yet, for all their ferocity, polar bears are not invincible. Their world is fragile, tied inseparably to the rhythm of ice and sea. Each year, the floes form later and melt sooner, forcing the bears farther, hungrier, more desperate. Their silence is no longer just strategy. It is the quiet toll of survival against impossible odds. The polar bear is not merely a predator. It is a symbol of the Arctic itself, immense, awe-inspiring, and perilously balanced between life and oblivion. In this frozen wilderness, every hunt is a gamble, every step a battle against time, and every breath a triumph over the cold. In the shadowed depths of Canada's boreal forests, where snow blankets the ground in a muffled silence, a ghost moves with impossible grace. The Canadian lynx, medium-sized yet perfectly adapted for the harsh northern climate, is a predator of stealth and precision. Its thick, silvery gray coat blends seamlessly with the winter landscape, insulating it from the cold while rendering it nearly invisible against the snow-covered underbrush. Tufts of black hair crown its ears, acting as antennae for the faintest whisper of movement, and its oversized paws act as natural snowshoes, distributing weight across drifts that would trap lesser hunters. The lynx's primary quarry is the snowshoe hare, a creature of equal camouflage and cunning. But the hare, with its quick reflexes and seasonal color changes, is not easily caught. The lynx relies on patience, stalking silently for hours before springing in a single fluid motion that launches it across the snow. Muscles coil and release like springs, paws striking with exacting force, jaws snapping shut on the unsuspecting hare. In the frozen silence, the impact is almost ceremonial, a testament to the predator's patience and skill. Yet survival for the lynx is rarely solitary. The forest is alive with competition. Coyotes, adaptable and opportunistic, shadow the lynx's movements, sometimes forcing it to abandon a kill. Red foxes, smaller but equally determined, can intercept a hare or scavenge leftovers when the lynx has struck. These small-scale rivalries define the lynx's daily existence, shaping its hunting times, routes, and strategies. Every step, every leap is calculated to avoid unnecessary confrontation while maximizing success. The lone lynx crouches beneath a snow-laden spruce, tail twitching, ears flicking toward every whisper of the wind. Its eyes, amber and calculating, lock onto a distant movement, the flash of white fur against a drift. With barely a sound, it glides forward, paws barely disturbing the snow, until the final explosive leap closes the distance. Among the most dramatic are the rare but unforgettable clashes between wolf packs and grizzly bears. These standoffs are not just battles for food, they are contests of strategy, power, and patience, where each participant tests the limits of instinct and endurance. A wolf pack approaches a grizzly cautiously, moving like a single shadow over the snow. Paws sink into the powder, breaths puffing clouds into the cold air. Amber eyes gleam, scanning the massive form ahead. The bear, a living fortress of muscle, turns its massive head, nostrils flaring, claws scraping the frozen earth. Its presence alone radiates raw power, forcing the wolves to pause, assessing whether hunger outweighs danger. The tension is palpable. Every movement is deliberate. A wolf darts forward, feints at the edge of the bear's vision, then retreats, testing reactions. Another wolf circles to the rear, eyes locked on any sign of weakness. The bear sways, massive shoulders rolling, claws tearing at the snow, a low rumble vibrating through the valley. Time seems suspended, breaths frozen midair, snowflakes suspended like diamonds, muscles coiled like springs. In these encounters, strategy clashes with brute force. Wolves rely on coordination and agility, striking as a unit, harassing the bear from multiple angles. They aim not to overpower but to distract, exhaust, and seize opportunity. The bear, in contrast, is a mountain of raw strength and patience. One swipe of its paw, one pivot of its massive body, can scatter the pack in an instant. Yet wolves understand risk. They probe, they test, they exploit moments when the bear's attention wavers. The wolf lunges at a bear's flank, leaping with snow exploding beneath its paws. The bear pivots slowly, claws raking the ground inches from the predator's snout. Another wolf circles to the left, jaws snapping, eyes bright with anticipation. The pack retreats and advances, a fluid, almost choreographed dance. The bear roars, a sound that echoes through the trees like rolling thunder, yet the wolves persist, relentless in their strategy. Most conflicts end with stalemates. The bear asserts dominance, the pack retreats, and both predators move on to survival elsewhere. But the tension, the drama, the sheer test of strength versus strategy leaves an indelible mark on the landscape. Even the slightest victory, snatching a leftover carcass or forcing a retreat, cements the wolves' resilience. The wolves, coordinated and cunning, dance around the bear, testing, learning, and enduring. The bear, colossal and relentless, dominates with sheer power, an immovable force against agile hunters. And for the observer, the forest seems to hold its breath, as nature writes another chapter in the endless war for survival. As Canada's forests, tundras, and rivers succumb to the grip of winter, the land transforms into a battlefield of survival. Snow blankets the ground in unbroken white, rivers freeze into lifeless glass, and temperatures plunge far below freezing. In this frozen expanse, predators face their most unforgiving opponent, the season itself. Hunger, exhaustion, and relentless cold shape every decision, every movement, every breath. For wolves, winter is both a challenge and an opportunity. Packs move as one, paws sinking deep into fresh snow, noses to the wind, senses stretched to their limits. The prey they track, deer, moose, or snowshoe hares, becomes harder to find, slower to move, yet equally wary. The hunt requires stamina and precision. Wolves leap across snowdrifts, corners covered in anticipation, communicating with low growls and sharp eye contact. Every misstep can mean energy lost. Every miscalculation could leave the pack hungry for days. Far to the north, polar bears face an even more unforgiving landscape. Ice floes shift and fracture beneath their enormous paws, and food is scarce for months at a time. Seals, their primary prey, become elusive as breathing holes freeze over or drift across the vast Arctic expanse. The bears must travel extraordinary distances, swimming between ice sheets, conserving energy, and timing attacks with surgical precision. Each failed hunt is a test of endurance, each successful strike a rare and vital triumph against starvation. Other predators endure equally dramatic challenges. The lynx must stalk prey across deep snow, leaping with all its might to catch fleeting hares, its thick coat insulating it from freezing temperatures but not from hunger. Coyotes scavenge or hunt opportunistically, clever and persistent, yet constantly aware of the danger posed by wolves, bears, or human encroachment. Even river predators, wolverines, mink, and otters, must adjust hunting strategies, diving through icy waters or foraging along snow-covered banks, balancing energy spent with food gained. Wolves slip across a frozen clearing, tails low, eyes locked on a struggling moose. A polar bear pauses atop a shifting ice floe, water dripping from its fur, muscles coiled as it waits for a seal to appear. A lynx crouches beneath a snow-laden spruce, ears twitching at every whisper, eyes blazing with predatory focus. Snowflakes drift lazily through the cold air, yet each flake carries the weight of life or death in this frozen world. Winter is a test of resilience, endurance, and instinct. Hunger drives predators to extraordinary lengths, forcing adaptation and ingenuity. Starvation lurks behind every shadow, and only those capable of patience, strength, and strategy survive. The harsh winter is more than a season, it is a crucible. Every predator, from wolves and bears to lynx and mink, proves that life in the north demands nothing less than absolute mastery over body, mind, and instinct. When the snow melts and Canada's rivers swell with the life-giving pulse of summer, the wilderness transforms. Salmon run upstream in glittering torrents, forests buzz with activity, and prey species multiply, yet abundance brings its own battles. Summer is a season of opportunity, but also a season of conflict, where predators clash in dramatic contests over food and territory. Grizzlies dominate the rivers during the salmon runs, standing in waist-deep waters with immense patience. Massive paws swipe in deliberate arcs, claws flashing like polished knives, snatching the silver fish leaping through the rapids. Each successful catch adds to their fat stores, vital for the coming winter, yet the abundance draws rivals. Wolves, stealthy and coordinated, sometimes approach from riverbanks, eyeing the bear's catch. Packs move with disciplined precision, some distracting, others circling, testing the bear's patience. The tension is electric, muscle against strategy, brute force against cunning. Bears rise mid-leap, salmon soaring through the air, water exploding around them like tiny waterfalls. Wolves bound over rocks and fallen logs, paws pounding in rhythm, teeth flashing as they close in on opportunistic prey. Otters dive with sleek agility through the same rivers, twisting beneath the surface in pursuit of smaller fish, while mink dart along the banks, seizing every overlooked morsel. The ecosystem pulses with energy, a complex dance of predator and prey, where timing and precision are everything. Even the aerial predators join this summer theater. Bald eagles swoop overhead, eyes fixed on fish struggling near the surface. Their talons extend, piercing the water with deadly accuracy, occasionally snatching a fish before it can escape the claws of a bear or the jaws of an otter. The air hums with motion, a chaotic symphony of wings, fur, and scales, each predator vying for a share of the river's bounty. Predator confrontations intensify in summer. Wolves may attempt to harass bears, testing reactions, stealing scraps from a successful catch. Bears, unyielding and massive, roar a warning, asserting dominance. Yet wolves' coordination and endurance sometimes allow them brief advantage, pulling away the smallest salmon while avoiding a swipe of those formidable claws. The riverbanks witness repeated micro-battles, paw versus jaw, strategy versus might, patience versus aggression. Summer also brings endurance challenges. Even amid abundance, predators must capitalize quickly. Fish do not wait. River currents are swift, and opportunities vanish in seconds. A single miscalculation can mean hours of missed sustenance or wasted energy, a lesson etched into survival instincts. As seasons shift, a different kind of tension rises, the intense struggle for mates. Breeding season transforms the forests, rivers, and tundras into arenas where power, strategy, and endurance are tested anew. Every move, every display, every confrontation can determine the continuation of a predator's lineage. Among wolf packs, hierarchy disputes intensify. Alpha males and females assert dominance through ritualized aggression. Growls rumble like distant thunder. Teeth flash intense displays, and bodies press against one another in a push and pull of strength and will. Subordinate wolves watch closely, learning the limits of authority, aware that a misstep could cost both status and access to mating. Even within the pack, tension simmers. Challenges are brief, yet explosive, demonstrating that survival extends beyond the hunt into the realm of family politics. Grizzly bears experience similar contests. When the mating season arrives, males patrol territories with increased aggression. Encounters between rival bears are thunderous and dramatic. Massive bodies rise onto hind legs, claws slash through the air, and jaws snap with bone-crushing force. A roar echoes across the valley, announcing dominance and deterring challengers. Yet the victor is not guaranteed. Strength, endurance, and courage all play roles in securing access to females, and every battle leaves a mark, on the body, the psyche, and the landscape. The Canadian lynx, solitary by nature, marks its territory with scent and subtle displays. When rivals encroach, tension escalates into dramatic confrontations, sudden leaps, swipes of paws, and explosive chases through deep snow. Coyotes, sharing overlapping ranges, engage in similar displays of territorial aggression. Calls, howls, and posturing communicate boundaries and deter intrusion, while occasional skirmishes reinforce survival skills and assert dominance. These encounters, though smaller in scale than those of wolves or bears, are no less intense. Stealth, speed, and cunning are weapons as deadly as strength. A wolf pair circles each other, ears flat, eyes locked, each testing the other's resolve before a synchronized display of dominance. A grizzly lunges, swiping the snow-laden ground, muscles rippling beneath fur, as a rival reacts with equal force, the forest floor trembling under the clash. A lynx crouches, tail flicking, eyes narrowing as a coyote approaches, then explodes into a sudden chase through the trees, snow flying in a cinematic blur. Every predator, from the largest grizzly to the stealthiest lynx, must navigate the dual challenges of hunger and mating. Courtship is not gentle. It is a test of endurance, skill, and dominance, a reminder that life in the wilderness is defined by both strength and cunning. In these seasons of rivalry, the stakes are clear. Victory means the continuation of one's lineage. Defeat may mean exclusion, injury, or death. The wilderness hums with tension, a symphony of survival, desire, and power, proving that in Canada, the fight for life never pauses, even in matters of the heart. As the sun dips below the horizon, Canada's wilderness transforms. Shadows lengthen, the air grows colder, and a different world awakens, the realm of nighttime predators. Under the silver glow of the moon, the forest becomes a theater of stealth, precision, and silent power. Here, lynx, owls, and coyotes take center stage, each adapted to thrive when the day's giants rest. The Canadian lynx emerges first, a ghost of the snow-laden forest. Muscles coiled, ears twitching, eyes gleaming amber, it glides across the powdery ground with near-perfect silence. Each step is calculated, each pause deliberate. Its primary quarry, the snowshoe hare, is alert, but the lynx's patience and agility give it a deadly advantage. Snow crunches underfoot only when necessary, and in a sudden leap, predator and prey merge in a blur, leaving the forest once again hushed. Above, great horned owls glide like shadows through the night. Silent wings absorb the slightest sound, allowing them to approach unsuspecting prey with unmatched stealth. Eyes, enormous and unblinking, pierce the darkness, tracking mice, rabbits, and other small mammals scurrying across the forest floor. Talons extend in a sudden, precise strike, ending the hunt in an instant. The forest seems suspended in time as feathered wings slice through moonlight, each predator asserting dominance over its aerial territory. Coyotes weave between trees and across frozen clearings, agile and cunning. They hunt alone or in small family units, relying on acute hearing and a nose attuned to the faintest scent. Glowing eyes peer through underbrush, tails flick as silent signals communicate coordination. Occasionally, coyotes' howls pierce the night, both a call to pack members and a warning to competitors, echoing through valleys and snow-covered hills. Nighttime brings encounters not only with prey but with other predators. A lynx may pause as a coyote wanders too close, muscles tensed, eyes locked, a tense standoff in moonlit shadows. An owl swoops near a mink or river otter hunting along a frozen stream, talons brushing dangerously close. The darkness amplifies every sound, the snapping of a twig, the rustle of leaves, the faint hiss of breath, all signals that can mean the difference between a meal and an empty night. Snowflakes shimmer in the moonlight as predators move with surgical precision. Eyes reflect silvery light. Silent paws disturb pristine snow, and wings cut through the chill air. The forest becomes a symphony of stealth, suspense, and survival, where every shadow is a potential threat and every sound a clue. In moonlit forests and across shadowed rivers, survival depends on patience, timing, and the ability to strike unseen, a reminder that in the wild, darkness is as fierce as daylight. In spring and autumn, herds of caribou and deer embark on epic migrations, moving across tundras, forests, and river valleys in search of sustenance. These colossal journeys are not only spectacles of endurance, but also magnets for predators, drawing wolves, bears, and other hunters into the paths of opportunity and danger. The caribou herds stretch for miles, thousands of hooves thundering against the frozen earth or soft tundra. Dust rises in summer heat. Snow kicks up in winter's chill. Each individual moves as part of a greater whole, a living wave of flesh and instinct. Predators watch from the edges, muscles coiled, patience sharpened by hunger. Wolves follow in strategic formations, pacing the herds, probing for weakness. Alpha wolves lead assaults while others flank, isolating stragglers or the sick and young. Precision and coordination are essential, for missteps mean wasted energy and potentially a lost meal. Bears, meanwhile, adopt a different strategy. Grizzlies intercept the migrating herds near rivers or open meadows, relying on stealth and brute strength. They do not chase relentlessly as wolves do. Instead, they exploit terrain, waiting for prey to stumble, to separate from the pack, or to become vulnerable in shallow waters. Massive claws dig into the earth as a bear lunges, catching a fleeing deer or calf in a sudden, explosive moment of power. A massive herd stretches to the horizon, antlers and tails moving in rhythm, eyes wide with instinctual awareness. Wolves slink through the shadows of forests, ears twitching, teeth glinting under dappled sunlight. Bears emerge from the tree line, colossal shapes framed against the open plains. The tension between predator and prey is palpable. A frozen moment before a chase, a leap of death across snow or water, a sudden surge of coordinated energy. Every hoofbeat, paw strike, and roar is part of an intricate dance dictated by survival. These seasonal movements also have cascading effects across the ecosystem. Coyotes and lynx exploit smaller prey displaced by the migration. Scavengers thrive on leftovers, and eagles soar above, searching for fish near rivers disturbed by the herd. Predators and prey alike adjust strategies in real time, responding to the shifting dynamics that these migrations create. The herds carry the future of their species but also draw relentless attention. Every predator lurking along the route tests speed, strength, and cunning. Survival is not guaranteed. It is earned through coordination, timing, and adaptability. The spectacle of seasonal migration is a vivid reminder that in the wild, movement is survival, and the land itself orchestrates the eternal game of predator and prey. In Canada's rivers, lakes, and wetlands, a different kind of hunting unfolds, a world of water predators, where precision, stealth, and speed determine survival. Here, bald eagles, ospreys, mink, and river otters dominate, each adapted to the challenges of hunting in and around water. In these aquatic arenas, life and death are measured in split seconds, and every ripple can mean the difference between hunger and satiation. Bald eagles patrol riverbanks and lakesides from above, their enormous wings cutting the air with majestic authority. Eyes honed to spot movement from great heights, they track fish as they leap from the water. When the moment is right, Talons extend like polished steel, and the bird plummets with lethal precision. Water erupts as claws strike, the prey grasped instantly before the eagle ascends back into the sky, wings beating powerfully against the wind. Each dive is a study in patience, timing, and aerodynamic perfection. Ospreys share a similar domain, plunging into the water with talons outstretched, their curved claws locking around slippery fish. They hover briefly above their target, assessing distance and trajectory, before collapsing into the water in a blur of wings and motion. The dynamic choreography of their hunting, hover, dive, grasp, lift is repeated hundreds of times across rivers and lakes, a continuous contest of predator skill versus aquatic agility. Meanwhile, mink and river otters rule below the surface. Mink, small yet fierce, navigate along riverbanks, slipping silently into cold waters to pursue fish and amphibians. Agile and lithe, they twist and turn with astonishing speed, often surprising larger prey with their sudden attacks. Otters, playful yet deadly, transform hunting into a spectacle, sliding into rapids, twisting beneath the surface, and emerging with a wriggling fish clamped firmly between jaws. They combine curiosity, energy, and efficiency into a single, mesmerizing performance. The mink darts along an icy stream, eyes glinting, body low and streamlined. An otter twists mid-leap, water spraying around it as a fish struggles in its jaws. Above, a bald eagle hovers, talons dripping, wings spread against the sky. The interactions are simultaneous yet independent predators exploiting the same habitat, each perfecting strategies honed by evolution. Every splash, every dive, every twist of muscle is a testament to survival. Predators constantly negotiate hierarchies and territorial boundaries, asserting dominance, testing rivals, and defending the spaces that provide food, shelter, and mating opportunities. Every forest, riverbank, and tundra clearing becomes a stage for these high-stakes dramas. Wolves are masters of social order and territorial strategy. Alpha pairs lead their packs with authority, their presence reinforced through scent marking, vocalizations, and deliberate patrols. A lone wolf venturing too close to another pack's territory triggers tension. Growls echo through trees, paws dig into snow as wolves posture, fur bristling, bodies low yet coiled like springs. Standoffs can last hours, a slow-motion negotiation where the slightest miscalculation can determine dominance and survival. Grizzly bears adopt a different, more solitary approach. Their territory is enforced with raw power and intimidation. Pawing the snow, scraping the earth, or roaring across valleys, a bear announces presence without the need for prolonged conflict. Yet when rivals challenge, displays escalate into dramatic confrontations. Massive claws swipe, muscles ripple under dense fur, and weight shifts in deliberate, threatening motions. These encounters rarely result in injury. Instead, they resolve through visual intimidation and assertive behavior, leaving clear boundaries and respecting the land's hierarchy. Interactions between species also reflect the intricacies of predator hierarchies. Wolves and bears occasionally clash over carcasses, salmon streams, or hunting grounds. A wolf pack may circle a bear cautiously, testing patience and response. The bear's reaction, a low rumble, a powerful swipe, a roar, sets the tone, forcing the pack to retreat or risk injury. Lynx and coyotes engage in smaller-scale territorial displays, each animal testing boundaries through stealth, vocalization, and fleeting confrontations. Hierarchy and territory are vital for survival in Canada's wilderness. They reduce unnecessary conflict, ensure access to resources, and reinforce social structures essential for hunting success. Yet they demand vigilance, intelligence, and adaptability. Misjudging a rival's strength or encroaching too boldly can have consequences as severe as hunger or injury. Predators assert themselves not only through strength but through strategy, observation, and respect for boundaries. Here, dominance is earned, survival is tested daily, and the delicate dance of hierarchy ensures that life and death follows the rules of the wild. The predators have long ruled without interruption. But as human activity expands, the landscape of survival shifts. Forests are fragmented by roads, towns edge closer to rivers and valleys, and the delicate balance of predator life faces unprecedented challenges. Urban encroachment does not merely reduce habitat, it changes behavior, forces adaptation, and sometimes brings predators and humans into startling proximity. Coyotes are among the most adaptable. Increasingly, they navigate suburban streets and parks under the cover of night, ears alert for movement, noses tracing scents of small mammals or discarded food. Rare sightings in backyards or alleyways inspire both fascination and fear. Coyotes learn to avoid humans while exploiting opportunities, scavenging, hunting urban rodents, and silently patrolling spaces humans once thought safe. Their cunning and adaptability illustrate the thin line between wild instinct and urban survival. Bears, particularly black and grizzly bears, face different challenges. Habitat loss pushes them toward roadsides and campgrounds. While some bears manage to exploit human food sources, others struggle to survive in fragmented territories. Encounters with humans are dangerous for predators and people alike. Bears may raid dumpsters or approach populated areas in search of sustenance, their immense size and strength turning curiosity into conflict. Yet these moments are fleeting, often resulting in relocation or intervention, a stark reminder that the rules of the wild and the rules of human settlements rarely align. Even wolves, masters of coordination and stealth, feel the impact. Packs avoid heavily populated areas, yet their hunting grounds may shrink, forcing adjustments in prey selection and territorial ranges. Fragmentation of forests alters migration patterns for moose and caribou, indirectly influencing predator-prey dynamics and the rhythm of survival. The coyote slips silently past a street lamp, eyes reflecting its surroundings like tiny moons. A bear emerges from a tree line near a campsite, sniffing the air, paws crunching against gravel. Wolves, distant yet aware, pause at forest edges where human footprints have replaced natural tracks. Each movement is deliberate, cautious, and dictated by the unseen pressures of human presence. Predators must adapt to survive, but adaptation comes with costs. Energy is diverted from hunting to avoidance, risk increases, and encounters with humans often end in injury, death, or relocation. Some species thrive in this altered world, demonstrating resilience, intelligence, and flexibility. Others falter, struggling to maintain the balance honed over millennia. In Canada's wildest corners, survival is never ordinary. It is extreme, raw, and unrelenting. Among the forests, tundras, and frozen rivers, documented predator encounters reveal battles of endurance, skill, and sheer willpower. From lone hunters challenging the odds to epic clashes between rival species, these stories showcase the relentless intensity of life in the northern wilderness. Consider a wolf hunting alone. While packs usually dominate the hunt, sometimes necessity forces a lone wolf into action. Moving silently through deep snow, muscles coiled beneath a dense winter coat, the wolf stalks a moose separated from its herd. Every step is deliberate, every breath calculated. The chase is a test of stamina and strategy. The moose thrashes, hooves cutting through ice and snow. Yet the wolf anticipates, weaving, darting, waiting for the perfect moment. Success is rare, but when achieved, it is a triumph of determination over size and strength, a testament to survival instincts honed through generations. Grizzly bears versus moose produce a different kind of spectacle. A bear waits near a river crossing, massive body blending with fallen logs and brush. The moose, towering and vigilant, senses danger, antlers raised defensively. The bear lunges with explosive power, claws slashing and jaws snapping. The ensuing struggle is a battle of strength, endurance, and reflexes. The moose fights with desperate force, yet the bear's patience and sheer might often prevail. Each encounter leaves an imprint on the land, in paw prints, hoof marks, and broken branches, a frozen tableau of life and death. Smaller-scale confrontations are equally dramatic. A lynx versus coyote scenario unfolds beneath snow-laden pines. The lynx crouches, ears flicking, eyes locked on a coyote encroaching its hunting ground. In a sudden burst, it pounces, claws extended, teeth bared. The coyote darts and weaves, agile and cunning, responding with evasive maneuvers and strategic retreats. Snow flies in every direction as predator meets predator, testing reflexes, patience, and stamina. Though size differs, the intensity rivals any larger confrontation, proving that in Canada's wilderness, survival is determined as much by skill and strategy as by power. These extreme stories highlight more than raw predation. They illustrate adaptation, resilience, and the intricate balance of ecosystems. Lone hunters must compensate for the lack of pack support. Rivals must weigh risk versus reward in every clash. Predators must navigate terrain, weather, and opportunity simultaneously. Each battle, whether successful or not, strengthens instincts, refines tactics, and perpetuates survival strategies crucial for life in the wild. From snow-drenched forests to icy riverbanks, from stealthy hunts to explosive confrontations, these stories remind us that life is a constant contest of strength, cunning, endurance, and instinct. Every predator, from the smallest lynx to the mightiest bear, faces trials that push physical and mental limits, proving that in the wild, survival is never given. It is earned in the crucible of action, decision, and sheer will. In this vast wilderness, survival is not only about hunting or strength, it is about communication, coordination, and social intelligence. Predators rely on complex signals to navigate their world: warnings, bonding rituals, territorial claims, and coordination in hunts. Every howl, roar, or subtle gesture carries meaning, shaping life and death in these untamed lands. Wolves are masters of vocal communication. The iconic howl echoes across forests and frozen plains, a signal to pack members or a warning to rivals. Low growls, sharp barks, and teeth-baring stares complement these calls, reinforcing hierarchy and cohesion. During hunts, subtle glances, body posture, and even tail movement guide coordinated attacks. Within the pack, communication ensures that every member understands their role, whether leading a chase, flanking prey, or guarding the young. Bonds forged through these signals maintain unity, enabling the pack to survive and thrive in harsh conditions. Bears, more solitary yet no less expressive, utilize roars, body language, and scent markings to convey information. A low rumbling growl warns intruders of imminent danger, while pawing the snow or striking a tree asserts territorial dominance. Females communicate subtly with cubs, teaching them to forage and hunt, while males display dominance to potential rivals during mating season. These signals are crucial. They prevent unnecessary conflict, assert authority, and protect vital resources. Lynx rely on subtler forms of communication. Ears flick, tails twitch, and body posture conveys intent to rivals or potential mates. Vocalizations are rare, but a sharp hiss or growl can delineate territory or ward off intruders. Coyotes, often living near overlapping territories, employ a mixture of howls, yips, and scent marks to communicate with pack members and warn neighboring individuals. These signals maintain social order, reduce direct confrontation, and enhance survival chances in the competitive northern ecosystem. The wolves raise heads in synchronized howls, the sound resonating over frozen valleys. Bears stomp through snow, releasing deep guttural roars that vibrate the earth beneath them. A lynx crouches low, tail flicking, eyes glinting as it signals readiness or aggression. Coyotes dart across moonlit clearings, calling rising and falling in haunting harmony. Each gesture, sound, and movement carries layered meaning, creating a dynamic language of survival. Communication extends beyond coordination. It fosters social bonds and ensures long-term survival. Packs and family groups reinforce trust and cooperation through ritualized behaviors. Predators convey warnings and signals to avoid unnecessary injury, navigating the thin line between dominance and danger. Even solitary hunters use these tools to mark territory and claim resources, weaving their presence into the ecosystem's fabric. Every howl, growl, hiss, and flick of the tail shapes relationships, asserts authority, and safeguards survival. Predators thrive not only through strength and skill, but through their mastery of communication, a silent, powerful thread that binds the wild together and orchestrates the intricate dance of life and death. Canada is a land of extremes, where predator survival strategies are sculpted by the relentless demands of their environment. From the frozen expanse of the Arctic to the dense boreal forests of the South, predators face vastly different challenges, and their adaptations reveal nature's ingenuity. In the Arctic, the polar bear reigns supreme. Towering and insulated against the cold by thick fur and a layer of fat, it stalks seals across ice floes with uncanny patience. Each step is calculated, paws silent on ice, eyes scanning for the slightest hint of movement. Hunting is a game of endurance and timing. A single misstep can mean hours without food. Alongside them, the Arctic fox survives through cunning and agility. Its white winter coat camouflages it against snow, while its keen senses detect the slightest tremor of prey beneath frozen ground. Opportunistic and resourceful, the fox thrives by scavenging leftovers from polar bears or hunting lemmings in near-silent efficiency. Further south, the boreal forests host a different ensemble of predators. Wolves, lynx, and grizzlies contend with towering pines, thick undergrowth, and seasonal snow. Wolves coordinate hunts over vast forests, using teamwork and communication to pursue deer and caribou. Lynx, solitary and stealthy, navigate deep snow with padded paws, ambushing hares and small mammals with lightning-quick pounces. Grizzlies, omnivorous and territorial, rely on sheer strength at salmon-filled rivers and forest clearings, supplementing their diet with berries and small mammals when prey is scarce. Hunting styles differ dramatically between these regions. Arctic predators rely heavily on endurance, stealth, and opportunism, responding to the sparse prey and extreme conditions. Polar bears hunt methodically, often waiting for hours near seal breathing holes. Arctic foxes employ cunning, caching food and following scavenging opportunities. Southern predators, in contrast, exploit abundance and forest structure. Wolves coordinate complex pack strategies, lynx rely on stealthy ambush, and bears use both brute force and strategic foraging, navigating terrain filled with rivers, fallen trees, and seasonal vegetation. Environmental pressures also shape behavior. In the Arctic, extreme cold, shifting ice, and sparse prey demand energy, efficiency, and patience. Survival is a matter of timing and endurance. In the boreal forests, predators face challenges from dense cover, seasonal migration of prey, and competition with other species. Wolves and bears must balance territory defense with hunting efficiency, while smaller predators like lynx and coyotes navigate overlapping ranges and human encroachment. The polar bear lumbers across a glittering ice field, its breath visible in the frigid air, while an Arctic fox darts across snow, tail flicking, ears alert. In the south, wolves move in coordinated packs through shadowed forests. Lynx leap from snow-covered logs with precision, and bears dominate salmon-filled rivers with powerful, clawed strikes. Arctic and southern predators demonstrate that survival is a dynamic dance of strength, strategy, and adaptation, whether against ice and cold, or forests and flowing rivers. The wilderness challenges all, but nature equips its hunters with the tools to endure and thrive. Survival is not dictated solely by strength or speed. Some of the most astonishing predator victories come from intelligence, cunning, and ingenuity. Wolves, bears, and even birds demonstrate that the brain can be just as powerful a weapon as muscle, shaping hunting strategies, social interactions, and survival in unpredictable landscapes. Wolves are the architects of strategy. Pack hunts resemble carefully orchestrated campaigns, with individuals assigned roles. Flankers drive prey toward ambush points, alphas time the final strike, and scouts monitor potential threats. A wolf's ability to adapt in real time, altering pursuit based on terrain, prey behavior, or rival predators, is a testament to cognitive skill honed over generations. Lone wolves too display problem-solving, exploiting weak points in prey behavior or terrain to succeed where brute force alone would fail. Even ravens play a surprising role in predator intelligence. Observant and opportunistic, these birds often follow wolves, using their keen eyes to locate hidden kills. Ravens engage in playful interactions with the pack, sometimes leading wolves toward carcasses or observing hunting strategies for their own benefit. This unusual interspecies partnership illustrates a complex understanding of cause and effect, cooperation and timing, a sophisticated dance of intelligence across species. Bears, despite their imposing size, are equally clever. They solve problems with surprising dexterity, lifting rocks to uncover hidden prey, breaking logs to find insects, or opening complex obstacles to reach food caches. Observations of bears manipulating gates, latches, or even human-made objects reveal a level of creativity and patience that rivals many mammals, underscoring the balance between brain and brawn in survival. A wolf pauses mid-chase, scanning the terrain, then redirects the hunt with subtle signals to its pack. A raven swoops down, landing near a kill, watching and waiting, occasionally cawing as if coordinating with the hunters below. A grizzly scratches, paws at a snow-covered log, then nudges it aside, revealing a hidden cache of roots or small mammals. Each scene captures the intersection of intellect, instinct, and adaptability. Survival in the wild often hinges on problem-solving. Predators must anticipate prey behavior, navigate difficult terrain, and respond to rival hunters. Mistakes are costly, and the ability to innovate can mean the difference between starvation and sustenance, injury and safety, life and death. Nature rewards those who combine strength with strategy, reflex with reasoning, and instinct with calculation. Intelligence is a survival tool as vital as claws or teeth. Wolves strategize, ravens collaborate, and bears manipulate. Each demonstrates that the wilderness is as much a battlefield of minds as it is of muscle. The conflicts between apex and mid-level predators shape the ecosystem. Wolves, bears, and lynx command the upper tiers, while coyotes, foxes, and smaller carnivores occupy subordinate niches. When territories overlap, prey is scarce, or mating season stirs competition. Clashes become inevitable, high-stakes encounters where skill, strength, and cunning collide. Wolves and coyotes often vie for similar prey in overlapping territories. Coyotes, smaller and more agile, avoid direct confrontation but exploit opportunities left by the wolves' hunt. When a wolf pack moves through a shared area, coyotes watch from the shadows, darting in to scavenge or snatch smaller prey. Occasionally, a lone wolf will chase a coyote off its territory, a display of dominance communicated through growls, teeth-baring, and strategic maneuvers. Every encounter reinforces pack hierarchy, while mid-level predators adapt, learning timing and tactics to survive alongside the larger hunters. Lynx and foxes engage in subtler, stealth-driven conflicts. Snow-covered forests and dense undergrowth serve as hunting grounds for both. Lynx, larger and stronger, may drive foxes from prime hunting zones, yet foxes' cleverness and flexibility allow them to exploit different prey or hunt at alternate times. Visual scenes show lynx leaping silently through deep snow, eyes fixed on hares, while foxes weave between trees, ears flicking, tail low, avoiding confrontation yet remaining opportunistic. These interactions underscore the delicate balance between dominance and survival. Bears versus wolves present a more dramatic contest. Apex predators rarely clash unless forced by overlapping resources, such as a carcass or salmon-filled river. Wolves circle cautiously, coordinated yet respectful, assessing the bear's strength and intentions. A bear may swipe, roar, or advance, asserting dominance. Wolves retreat or reposition, testing for weakness, while mid-level predators like coyotes watch and wait, ready to seize scraps. Each standoff is a tense, slow-motion negotiation, revealing the rules of hierarchy. Strength, strategy, and timing govern the outcome more than aggression alone. The wolf pack skirts the edges of a bear's territory, noses to the ground, tails low. A lynx stalks a snowy clearing while a fox observes from a shadowed log. Bears, massive and deliberate, paw at the snow near salmon streams, signaling ownership. The forest holds its breath in these encounters, every movement a calculated assertion of dominance or survival. Apex versus mid-level conflicts are both strategic and evolutionary. They regulate population dynamics, influence hunting behavior, and shape the social structures of each species. Survival requires understanding not only one's prey, but also competitors, timing confrontations carefully, and reading subtle signals of strength and intent. These interactions reveal a world where hierarchy is maintained through intelligence and instinct, where dominance is respected, and where mid-level predators must balance caution with opportunity. Canada's wilderness is majestic, but it is not untouched. Human presence has left indelible marks on predator habitats, shaping survival, behavior, and even the structure of entire ecosystems. The story of human impact is complex, a mix of challenges and opportunities, threats and triumphs. Negative impacts are stark and pervasive. Logging, mining, and urban expansion fragment forests, compressing predator territories and reducing hunting grounds. Wolves, lynx, and bears face shrinking ranges, forcing them into conflicts with humans or rival species. climate change further alters the landscape. Warming temperatures affect snow and ice patterns, disrupt prey migrations, and force polar bears and Arctic foxes to adapt rapidly or risk starvation. Hunting and poaching, although regulated in many areas, also reduce predator populations, removing essential members from packs or disrupting breeding cycles. Even well-intentioned human presence, campgrounds, roads, and recreational activities can stress predators, altering natural behaviors and creating long-term consequences for survival. Yet humans are not solely a destructive force. Conservation efforts have demonstrated remarkable success. Protected areas, national parks, and wildlife corridors provide refuges where predators can hunt, reproduce, and thrive with minimal interference. Reintroduction programs, such as those for wolves in certain regions, have restored balance to ecosystems previously dominated by overpopulated prey species. Research and monitoring initiatives deepen understanding of predator dynamics, guiding policy decisions that mitigate human-wildlife conflict and protect critical habitats. Public education campaigns encourage coexistence, reducing unnecessary confrontations, and fostering appreciation for these apex and mid-level hunters. In logged clearings, wolves cautiously navigate fragmented terrain, wary of roads and machinery. Meanwhile, in protected reserves, bears fish salmon unhindered. Wolves coordinate hunts across snow-drenched valleys, and lynx traverse deep forests with confidence. These images reflect the dual nature of human impact, both as a disruptive force and a guardian of life. Ultimately, the story of predators in Canada is a reflection of humanity itself, capable of destruction, yet also of stewardship. Successes in conservation prove that coexistence is possible, but the threats remain pressing. Logging, climate change, and encroachment continue to challenge survival, demanding vigilance, responsibility, and action. As we reflect on the delicate balance between humans and predators, the question lingers: can we preserve the raw, untamed wilderness of Canada while meeting the needs of a growing human population? The answer lies in choices we make today. Choices that will determine whether these apex hunters continue to roam freely or whether their wild voices are silenced forever. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And if this got your adrenaline racing, don't forget to explore the untamed wilderness, even in Antarctica.